Jakarta Mail message handling process. In Jakarta Mail,
This figure illustrates the Jakarta Mail message handling process. The Jakarta Mail API is intended to perform the following function, which comprise the standard mail handling process for a typical client application. Create a mail message consisting a collection of headers, header attributes, and a block of data of some known data types as specified in the content type header field. Jakarta Mail uses the part interface and the message class to define a mail message. It uses JAF defined data handler object to contain data placed in the message. Create session object which authenticates the user and control access to the message store and transport. Send the message to its recipient list. Retrieve a message from message store. Execute high-level command on a retrieved message. High-level commands like view and print are intended to be implemented via activation or via Java beans. Jakarta Mail Framework does not define mechanisms that support message delivery, security, disconnected operation, directory services, or filter functionality. The message class is an abstract class that defines a set of attributes and a content for a mail message. Attributes of the message class specify addressing information and define the structure of a content, including content type. The content is represented as a data handler object that wraps around actual data. The message class implement the part interface. The part interface defines attributes that are required to define and format data content carried by the message object and to interface successfully to a mail system. The message class adds from, to, subject, reply to, and other attributes necessary for message routing via a message transport system. When contained in a folder, message object has a set of flags associated with it. Jakarta Mail provides message subclasses that support specific messaging implementations. The content of a message is a collection of bytes or a reference to a collection of bytes encapsulated within a message object. Jakarta Mail has no knowledge of the data type or format of the message content. A message object interacts with its content through an intermediate layer, Jakarta activation. This separation allows a message object to handle any arbitrary content and to transmit using any appropriate transmission protocol by calls to the same API methods. The message recipient usually knows the content, data type, and format, and knows how to handle that content. Jakarta Mail API also supports multi-part message objects where each body part defines its own set of attributes and content. Message storage and retrieval. Messages are stored in folder objects. Folder objects can contain subfolders as well as messages, that thus providing a tree-like folder hierarchy. The folder class declares methods that fetch, append, copy, and delete messages A folder object can also send events to the two component registered as event listeners. The store class defines a database that holds a folder hierarchy together with its messages. The stock class also specifies the access protocol that accesses folders and retrieve messages stored in folders. The stock class also provides method to establish a connection to the database to fetch folders and to close connection. Service providers implementing message access protocols IM, AP4, POP3, etc. start off by subclassing store class. A user typically starts a session with the mail system by connecting to a particular store implementation. Message composition and transport. A client creates a new message by instantiating an appropriate message subclass. It sends attributes like the recipient address and the subject and inserts a content into the message object. Finally, it sends the message by invoking the transport.send method. The transport class models the transport agent that routes a message to its destination address. This class provides methods that send a message to a list of recipient. Invoking transport.send method with the message object identifies the appropriate transport based on its destination addresses. The session class. The session class defines a global and per user mail related properties that defines the interface between mail enabled client and the network. Jakarta mail system components use the session object to set and get specific properties. The session class also provides a default authenticated session object that desktop application can share. The session class is a final concrete class. It cannot be subclassed. The session class also acts as a factory for store and transport objects that implement specific access and transport protocols. By calling the appropriate factory method on a session object, the client can obtain store and transport objects that support specific protocols. Here you can see message, send a message. Message is connected to transport. Here submit a message. Transport is connected to network infrastructure. Network infrastructure is connected to store, and receive messages pass from network infrastructure to store, and store is connected to folders. Folders contain messages, and folders is connected to message.